Hello, this is Catherine here, better known to you here on Wealthy Affiliates as Cat's Kitchen. I want to talk to you today about establishing yourself as an authority in a niche. And being an authority figure doesn't necessarily mean that you know absolutely everything about your subject. In general, it means knowing a little bit more than the average Joe. And how you find the information to be an authority figure is really quite simple. It's a question of knowing how to research things properly. Now, no doubt that when you do searches, you tend to go into a page like this, the normal Google search page, and you type in your search term here. Well, this doesn't give you any opportunity to filter anything at all, but you actually can filter your searches. And this is the site that you want if you're in America, or you want to look in the .com, google.com, advanced search, and this is the .co.uk, advanced search. Now I'm going to open that in a new tab, and I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to do a quick overview first. I will give you later on in this video, I'll give you examples of how to use it, but just generally, not for this minute, I want to just talk about generally. So find pages with all of these words. That could mean green Wellington boots, this exact phrase, possibly kids green Wellington boots. With any of these words, maybe you want to look for a specific brand name. Would be Clark's kids Wellington boots. Now this is a filter, none of these words here. It's a little bit difficult to do this on a first search, but I don't know, there may be, supposing you look up green Wellington boots and there's a film called Green Wellington Boots, and you see that and it says directed by, I don't know, Steven Spielberg. You can come back and do a second search and filter out with none of these words, take out. You just would put there minus, which is a normal minus sign, and Steven Spielberg. Now the numbers ranging from and to I find quite interesting, and it's particularly interesting if you deal with local businesses or you sell any services to local businesses, because you can actually put zip codes in there. So maybe you're creating a site to I don't know, plumbers directory in New York. You can find all the plumbers with a web presence between a zip code da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da. I think I did a search because I do some local SEO work for local businesses, and I'm just going to put Indian food there, and I'm not going to explain this, I'm just going to do an advanced search there, and it should bring up all the Indian takeaways or cafes. Now that's 10, all of those are local to me. CT10 is my local city, Canterbury. I'm in Kent in the UK at the moment, and even down to page 10. So it can show you how many local businesses there are, which may not necessarily be something you're looking for, but it's there if you need it. Now you can narrow your search even further. You can filter it down to any language. Well, I generally leave it on any language because Google by default will find English. Any region I've never particularly used because I'm not really interested in Albania or Algeria or anywhere else, but if you particularly wanted something or were researching something in a particular area, this region section there, the drop down, is the place to do it. Now This is where you become start to become and search and drill down and find out what's being done in your niche. The any time means it's anything that's been published on the web in the last since the web's inception, really. So it could be, say, prostate cancer. Now, there's been a lot of innovations in prostate cancer in the last 10 years, and you may not wanting information that's 15 years old, maybe out of date. But this is where you drill down and find here, past 24 hours, past week, past month, and past year. So you can find anything that's being talked about now in your niche. Now, if you can talk about something that's been just spoken about by quite a lot of people in the last 24 hours, you then start to look like a mover and shaker in your niche rather than somebody who's following the herd. So this is a great way of finding out what's going on in your niche in the past 24 hours. Now, you can do this, of course, by Google Alerts, but they tend to come in dribs and drabs, and it's a longer, harder way to search. Where Google Alerts is really, really useful is if you want to look at your own name. I will set up here, show you how to do a Google Alerts for this purpose. Google Alerts. There you go. Just go to www.google.com/alerts. There you are. It's the American one. And there's the British one. So you just click on that link. Now, you could do it under your own name. And because I own the website catherineford.com, I may want to know what people are saying about Catherine Ford. And if you are promoting something, you may want to know what people are saying, particularly if you own your own product. And I'm going to put Create Alert there. So it's as simple as that. But in actual fact, the Google Advanced Search is here in this is much more useful if you want to find out what's being spoken about in your niche rather than about your person or your product. Now, the site or domain allows you to refine your search a little bit more. For instance, the BBC has 3 food sites, and you may not want to look in all 3 for a BBC recipe, so you just type in the BBC there. Wikipedia has information, and sometimes it's not the most organized of directories. Can cover things under different subjects. You could just put Wikipedia here. Now, terms appearing anywhere in the page means just that. That means in the body of the page, not in the title and not in the URL. And the URL, of course, is the www.bit. So terms appearing anywhere in the page, in the title of the page, in the text of the page. Anywhere in the page obviously means in the title, in the text, and the URL as well. In the title is specifically title, so this is a way of working out what your competition is if you need to have competition. In the text of the page, we'll see how many things are showing, how many articles or web pages are showing with it in the text of the page, and here is in the www. And this is linking to a page. Now, this is also an interesting thing if you want to find out what your competition is. So that will refine it in terms of time. This is actually filter explicit results. I don't use that. I take it it's to do with sexually explicit or pornographic content. Oh, yes. Whether to filter sexually explicit content. I'll leave that one to you. The reading level, I don't tend to do this, but you may do if you want to do looking for a medical report. You may go for advanced results, but I tend not to use that. Now, I find this one very useful, any format. because if you see here, you can see any format, which literally means anything. It means any HTML page, any WordPress blog, any PDF, which is a portable document file, which is something that looks the same on every computer. Adobe PostScripts, I don't know that it's something to do with images, I'm not sure. I don't know what a DWF is. Google Earth is self-explanatory. Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet. Obviously that's a PowerPoint. You can look at Word documents, text documents, or videos. So this can be useful if you're looking up something and don't want to go to YouTube and then Vimeo. Not everybody posts videos on YouTube. So it's also quite an interesting way of looking for a video. So now we've explained what each of those are, I'm going to show you how I would go about researching content for my website if I had chosen my niche. Now you can go to eZine Articles here. Now this is ezinearticles.com, which is there's the URL there, just ezinearticles.com. This used to be of more interest when people were submitting articles to Web Directory. There's still a few people doing it, but it's not as effective. And of course WA have their own street articles as well. But you can use Google Advanced Search. Now, supposing my niche was diabetes, I'm going to show you 3 niches today. I'm going to show you a niche in the health niche, which is diabetes, and I'm going to show you something to do, something where you can promote physical and digital products, and then I'm going to show you something in the internet marketing world. But we'll start with diabetes. So with the exact words of the phrase, I'm going to put insulin there. With any of these words, resistance, glucose, sugar count. It'd be helpful if I spelt sugar correctly, but there you go. With none of these words, I'm going to put diabetes. I'm going to put, no, I don't want to, you can't take out diabetes because I put with all of these words there. I'm only interested in type 2 diabetes, so I'm going to put type 1 I am actually taking out. So that's one way you can use that filter there. Now, I'm not really interested in numbers, any language, any region. I want to know what's happened in the last week. Now, if you're just researching what's happened in the last week, you wouldn't filter this by license. You wouldn't use this section at all. But you can see here at the bottom, they're not filtered by license means absolutely anything that's published on the web. Now some of that will be covered by copyright rule, so you wouldn't be able to share it. But you can use or share this, which takes out the copyrighted material. Then this filters it down even more specifically. You can use it, share it even commercially, which means you could put a link on your website, or you could put a quote on your website, or you could say, while I was researching diabetes today, I found this quite interesting article, and put a link if you wanted to. It's not always a good idea to send. I tend not to send people out of my websites unless I'm sending them to a specific sales page or an opt-in page, but there may be sometimes in the health niche there are reasons why you would want to send them to an authority site. Now this is feel free to use or share or modify. Now that means you can change it. Now that may be useful for you as a guide, and that is the hardest and the freest of all. Feel free to use, share, modify, even commercially. Basically means you can do what you like with it. But in this instance, I'm only wanting to know what the people are saying about diabetes in the last week. But I want to know particularly what's happening in e-zine articles. There you are, ezinearticles.com. And we can go into the advanced search there. And nobody's put anything in the last week, which I'm not absolutely surprised about, because not many people are doing those. So if we just wanted to have, say for instance, I don't want to last week, but I do want in the past year. I don't really want any time. I want to know what people are talking about now. But this will also give you ideas, and if I were you, I'd open a text file when you do this and copy and paste some of the ideas so you can use it to further research things. So we'll go into e-zine articles, and this should show Yacon syrup. Well, I've never heard of that. So that would give me an idea of to research Yacon syrup. Now we're going to go into Google Advanced again, and let's say we just generally want to research a niche. Diabetes, no refinement there, anywhere in the page. In the past year, any format, advanced search. So this would give me, first of all, if you're just looking to see if the niche is a good one to go in, you can see it is, because all of these are ads. There's the giveaway there, the yellow sign. These two are sites that are advertising. So definition, so it would be an idea to define it somewhere on your page if you had a somewhere on your site. Maybe create a facts page that has a definition. Now, diabetes breakthrough 18 hours ago. Now, I am actually going to bookmark that page because I work in the diabetes need and I need to find out what that breakthrough is, and I want to write about it. And if you see that it's only 18 hours ago, if you're in the diabetic niche, that makes you a mover and shaker. You're one of the first people to find out what that is. Let's have a look what it is. Researchers announced diabetic breakthrough. Oh, that's fantastic. Now that is a huge breakthrough. That means that they can inject people with stem cells and it recreates what the cells in the body would do. So that would definitely, if you're in the diabetes niche, you would definitely want to have a look at that. Now we'll show you how to, let's see, we're going to have a look to see if we can find that study in Harvard. So we're going to do Google Advanced Search, diabetes, with the exact word Harvard. Now, just because it's been reported in the last 24 hours doesn't mean the medical study was in the last 24 hours, but it's certainly going to be in the last month. But for safety's sake, I'm going to go, no, I'm going to go in the last month. It will be in the last month. And did it say who the researchers were? Yeah. I'm going to put stem cells there. So diabetes, Harvard. You can put more than one here. You just have to put the comma in stem cells. Let's see if we can find the medical document. There you are. I think should be what we're looking for. Now we've got an even more a detailed article here. You see the last one was only 3 or 4 paragraphs. Now let me see. It's an exciting paper. It certainly is if it's anybody in that niche. So let's go further up and look at that. And that's Bloomberg News, of course. Okay, but then you can see, I want to see who the researchers are. Now that's interesting. It's Douglas Melton. So you would go back again and you'd actually find the actual medical paper. And if you wanted to write in that, you could actually link to that medical paper. So that is how you start to refine your search. And from a little 3-page or 3-paragraph article that really didn't tell you very much, you've got 2 very, very detailed articles which you could use. And you can even contact the reporter for more information if you wanted to in this case. Now we'll go back to the top 10 takeaways that we found. And there we are. Another big Cell paper. Now that should produce the actual research. Yeah, there you are, Harvard's Doug Melton. So you should be able to link to that in your article. Now, don't you think that that would make you look an authority in your niche? You found something that's been published very recently, which is a massive breakthrough for diabetes. So you begin to look like an authority. So again, to go back to looking in your niche, you can have a look in here and search just for ideas in your niche. If you just want to write content but you don't want things that are necessarily you can see what do you need to know about diabetes. Well, it seems fairly obvious. Ayurvedic herbs. Ayurveda is a Sinhalese South Indian medicine. It's practiced quite a lot in Asia, but that will give you a idea that I would copy and paste that down, and it would give me an idea of something to write about. Herbal supplements is another idea that you can write about, and this is exactly the definitions. And there's 3,378 pages. So let's go to page 5. There's plenty of ideas on any subject if you go to e-zine articles. All of these will give you ideas for content for your site. And if you want to refine these further, so brief overview about diabetes vitamins for diabetics, you can go into the advanced search as we've just done and refine that search. So this is giving you overall ideas to further refine your search. Now I'm going to go back to Google Advanced Search, and I'm going to show you how you can refine your search to find certain documents. Now I'm going to do something like, I'm going to say lawns. If your research was gardening, you might want to write about lawns. I don't want to refine it any further here, but where I do want to refine it is here. I want any format because I'm guessing quite often that you have government papers. You might find a paper and the local government in Alaska might say how to survive a flu pandemic. So if you use this in advanced search and the PDFs, you see the University of Maryland there. Now, you can be sure that if the University of Maryland is writing about lawn establishment, renovation and overseeding, that information is correct. And this is where finding PDFs are useful, because if you get government papers, you can be sure they're authorities and you know what you're talking about, because quite often, I mean, the web, I don't know how we'd do without it, but there's an awful lot of junk on it as well. And if you're just researching a new niche, you don't know. But this is a very useful way. That's a government site there, United States Environmental Protection Agency. That will be a authority site, so you can actually open any of these. Now that gives you an idea to write content, drought survival. Now that's a very specific thing. Lawn watering guide for California. Now I've no doubt there's lots of people in California with lawns. So again, it gives you general ideas, but aerating your lawn. I mean, I don't know the first thing about lawns, but clearly they need aerating. It involves the removal of small soil plugs. Oh, that's interesting. So let's have a look at lawn care by the Colorado State University. Now, of course, you can download this to your own computer and keep it there, but it just gives you facts. I mean, there's an awful lot of information there. If you couldn't write one 1,200 word article about that, well, I don't know what, if you can't. So that is one example to show you how to do it in a health niche, one example how to refine it into specific document types, and in a niche where you can sell both digital and physical products. For instance, you can write about lawn motors, the best lawnmower, the best fertilizers, which is a physical product. You could promote Amazon products there. You could promote gardening gloves, gardening tools as physical products, and I'm no doubt there are, if you look on ClickBank or somewhere like that, there will be PDFs or courses available on lawn care you could promote, which would have a slightly higher percentage than Amazon. So the third example I'm going to show you very quickly, we're going back to Google Advanced Search, and we're going to do internet marketing. And a lot of you have sent me private messages, or you've asked me, how do you refine a target market? Well, this is one way of doing it. I'm going to say work at home. Now, I know, and I can actually show you this on Wealthy Affiliates, that I'm going to go into Jaxi here, which is, as you know, the keyword tool. I'm going to log in. Well, I am when it's coming up. Here you are. Come on. And I'm going to look up the keyword search for work at home. Now, let's have a look. Search. Let's turn that one off. I'm going to do, say, work at home opportunities. Now this blue line indicates that it's working. Once it's hit here, it shouldn't be very long, we'll have finished. And you can see work at home opportunities, nearly 70,000 people search that. If you've never been in the keyword tool, here is the number of, this first column is the number of searches in a month. This is the traffic here that you'd get if you were on the first page of the website. The QSR is the quoted search results, is the number of competing pages. Now, for instance there, if you wanted to target work at home opportunities for college students, there are only 56 people look at it a month, but there's only 11 competing websites. And if you got on the first page, which you could do very quickly, I can see that here because the SEO nearer to 100. The nearest to 100 is how quickly it will rank. Now my brain thinks another thing when it sees KQI. Keyword quality indicator. This is like a traffic light. Red means you'll be a long time getting the keyword rank because there's an awful lot of competition. As you can see, there's 389 competing pages. But here, there's only 48 legit work at home opportunities. So this is an idea of what's called low-hanging fruit. These are low-hanging fruit or long-tailed keywords. Now, if you want to refine your niche, you want to be finding all of these green or amber. It's again like a traffic light. It's green, go for it immediately. Amber, it'll take you a bit longer, and red, well, hold off a bit. So the best work at home opportunity has 9,475 people looking for it. So it's an idea to put that creatively in an article, and you can put the best work at home opportunity I have personally tried is wealthy affiliates, if you're actually promoting wealthy affiliates, which you should be. And I would put that 2 or 3 times, not that I have found, but the phrase the best work at home opportunity, I would put that, say, 3 times in a 1,000-1,200 word article. So I'm going to then go back to Google Advanced Search, and I'm going to see, I'm not going to do work at home, I'm going to, what did I just say that was? I've forgotten. The best work at home opportunities. I'm going to put work at home opportunities, and I want to see what people are writing now. You could, if there's a new product on the market and it's having some good reviews, you could research the reviews and you could do a comparison to wealthy affiliates. That's one way of using this. I want to show in the last week. I want to see what the movers and shakers in the industry are writing about it now. So I'm going to go to Google Advanced Search there. Now these are adverts. Indeed.com have written something 6 hours ago. So they've updated their Irish jobs, work at home, jobs in Ireland, yeah, jobs in Houston. You could do further keyword research here. Work at home from London. Let's have a look at the next page. Alright, well, let's just open one of the sites. That is just a directory, but what did catch my eye there is Pinterest. Now, a lot of you may not even use Pinterest, but it's and you wouldn't think work at home jobs is the sort of thing you can actually make a board about, but actually you can, and I've used Pinterest very, very successfully to drive traffic. So this is one way you can promote your website. You can create a pin that says work at home jobs, work at home opportunities, work at home in New York, work at home in Outer Mongolia, and then go into some of these and have a look at the job opportunities, and it'll give you an idea of something to write about. So that will conclude this video before I bore you all to tears, and I will see you on my next training.